we have a special fill-in today for Gaati. Gaati is doing her thing as as she's commentating the SIAC. Is that how you say it? Or do they call it something else?
No, you don't use the other term. You did it just right. SIAC.
SIAC.
Okay. Please do not use the
Don't.
They would be like,
don't
no.
say nothing else. You get all kinds of hate mail.
They don't like it.
All right, so shout out to her. She's covering 23 games in 5 days on ESPN Plus. So with that, turn it over to you, Mike. Our girls and our men and women.
Yeah, let's start with the women. Let's start with the women's first. But again, shout out to Gaati. Also want to put a tag in. Watch the fashion. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Trendsetter. Yes. Hashtag trendsetter.
We've been told it's going to be some wardrobe changes throughout the tournament.
So both the men's and the women's had their most recent game against Alcorn State. We'll start with the females. Let's start by saying that Alcorn State is last in the West at 2-13 in the conference and 19 overall. It just really was not a good game for the ladies this time. There were a number of factors that came out. Of course, Kennedy Hurd, she had a down, what I call a down game. Dinah Rosenthal was her usual. She had 10 rebounds, 18 points. The bench had maybe 15 points altogether. But here's a stickler. You can't beat a team going 8% from 3-point land. That's number one. You just can't beat them. It's hard to do it, Dr. Kennedy. That's one data point.
2 for 25.
8%?
8%. 2 for 25.
Stop shooting.
They hit the first 3 until the second half. Go ahead, Mike.
Exactly. The team scored 4 points, I think, in the second quarter and 7 points in the third period. Rebounds, they did a great job. But here's the other data point. Free throws. Alcorn State, 73%. Prairie View, just over 54%. If you're throwing a lot of fouls or getting a lot of fouls, you got to hit your free throws. And it just was not a good free throw site for the ladies. Again, Dinah Rosenthal, she did her thing. She did what you expected her to do. She came out and balled. But in terms of the other backers, Kenny Paul, Hurd, she had like 2 points. So it just wasn't a lot of support off the bench. It wasn't a support. They only had 2 people in double figures. So, that was Kennedy Paul and Dinah Rosenthal. So real tough night for the ladies against Alcorn. That's disappointing. They still have a puncher's chance, I believe, at 9-7 in the conference. But it's disappointing because Alcorn is a game that you would have wanted them to win, that they needed to win to continue that puncher's chance. Now they just took a shot on the jaw. So.
Yeah, perfect breakdown, Mike. You can tell Coach Santa Pugh was really upset in terms of how the women came out and played that game, because she called timeouts late in the game, just trying to make sure to understand that you got to play through this. She knew they lost a great opportunity. Joe and Roland, that corner that you sit in, it became like a death corner. Anything they put up from that side just would not go in. It was a lid on it or whatever. And they had wide open shots that were really frustrating. In terms of that game, is that it just was not their night. It wasn't anything they did coaching wise. They just did not play well and could not hit wide open shots.
At that point, that's when you put the ball on the floor and take it to the hole and draw.
No, it wouldn't have mattered. And they got some fouls and they missed the free throws. But once they understood hitting the shot, they packed in the paint. So they had a chance where they tried to go in there, but they would get the ball stripped or they would get a charge call because they just packed in the paint. They were like, until y'all hit some shots.
Till you hit shots from the outside?
Okay. Or it was just one of those nights.
Even medium range shots, they weren't hitting them. So
just one of those nights. They happen.
Same with the men. But,
the men wasn't.
Sorry.
The men wasn't quite as bad.
No, not as bad. Not from that perspective.
It was
Man, it was a different story. You had some ballers out there. You had Juwan Daniels at 23, 10, Jeremiah Gambrell at 18 and 6, and then Will Douglas, well, he was at 15 and 4. So you had big three kind of stepping up. The problem is you only had 6 points coming off the bench. So you had 5 folks producing, and then you had another 5 or 6 for Alcorn State that actually came in and had some positive minutes. That hurt them. But statistically, data point wise, Prairie View was ahead in most statistical categories. There was a 3 toward the end of the game. And I know everybody who saw that game is shaking. Man, that 3-point game, that shot right there. That was a dagger. But I kind of worry about Prairie View because they still have a puncher's chance. Alcorn State's the second best team right now, give or take. It's a parity league, but they're second or third. They're up there. If you look at where they sit in the conference, they're doing pretty good. They're right behind Texas Southern in the West. Texas Southern's 12-4. Alcorn State's 11-4. So this is a game I really chalk up to Prairie View. A few key mental mistakes, but in every statistical category, Prairie View wins this game, but for a few things. So, they were, 3-point range, they were only 20%, where Alcorn State, you gotta admit, they hit a few key clutch threes. One we mentioned there. So Prairie View's got the scores, but going into the tournament, you gotta wonder about that bench. If you can only put 5 or 6 points coming off the bench against the top team, you're kind of scratching your head. But there's still so much parity in the men's SWAC that any team can beat any given team on a given night. So I still have a lot of confidence in Prairie View. They're still number 6th, 7th in the SWAC, depending on who's playing when. They have Jackson State coming up at home. And then the booger of them is next Saturday at TSU. Hopefully everybody will be there to see that game.
That is going to be the big sign right there. How do they come out and play next Saturday, March the 5th at TSU?
They'll play well. They play strong. The same Achilles heel that have hurt us in those close losses, whether at home on the road, is the ability to hit free throws late in the game. Yep. They were up 2. They got a bad shot by Alcorn and got the rebound, and they fouled them. They went to the line for the front end of 1-and-1. They hit the one, they're in good shape. They hit both. Basically, the game is over. They couldn't get it. They got a lot of rebounds, but they didn't get the key rebound. They fouled Alcorn. Alcorn goes to the line and shoots 2. They missed both of them, but they get a tip in to tie the game. They go down and try to basically get the last shot off. They didn't get it off, so they didn't even get a shot attempt to go up, which is bad, because even if you don't hit it, you probably can fold around, pick the rebound, and you melt some more time off the clock. But I'm going to test all those that go to the game. The last shot was just a fortunate shot. They literally shot that from the Big Bend Park on the logo, or Laredo, where Laredo is listed on the map. We have the Texas logo on the floor. They shot it there and it went in. So you could have won the overtime. They still got it done. You give it credit. Alcorn is having one of those magical seasons. We're not. Yeah. We'll still have a puncher's chance in the tournament. We'll be ready for Texas Southern. And what's interesting, because of this game on Monday, it's ultimately for first place between Texas Southern and Alcorn. So our chance in terms of when we play Texas Southern may decide whether Texas Southern wins the conference or not. So I'm looking forward to that.
Exactly. Yeah. And how things rewind. Remember, Prairie View wins regular season last year, and who knocked the conference championship. So how things kind of rewind. So I agree with Dr. Goville. They still have a puncher's chance. One other data point, free throw percentage, they were like 66%. Alcorn's only 44. The problem it's got us is those key rebounds, not just rebounds, key rebounds at the right moment. So
basically we need to spend the entire week old school, like junior high school practice, where you're on the free throw line shooting free throws all day at practice.
They already do that. They just, sometimes you got some guys that just, when it's late in the games, that ain't what they do.
But they need to manage the clock too.
Don't come that close.
They struggle with managing the clock.
You just gotta hold your breath.
One thing before we move on, I mean, for those who was at the game, I think one notable point that I just love, and I'm so excited how the Storm is like engaging the crowds and making it a whole lot better of experience. But they heckled the crap out of Henry the whole time. If y'all don't know, Henry was transferred over to Alcorn. That was hilarious.
Yeah, and the
Man.
fans, the
And then the
students
fans
also
start
good.
getting
And they talk about the refs really well too, because they'll go to the clock and be like, "Get it right, get it right."
I love it.
Man doing their homework. I like it.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Yes, indeed.
Man.
Shout out to the Storm.